Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun going over some ETH data on Saturday, September 20th, looking at the data from the 19th. And so happy weekend, happy Saturday. Hopefully you guys are having a great start to your weekend and the weather's great. It's a little rainy where I'm at. But anyways, if we do look over here at the strategic ETH reserve.xyz, I'm just going to scroll down to the ETFs. So we can see all of the data here looking at it in USD. And so on the 19th, we actually saw an inflow of about $54 million, even though we have seen a lot of red across the board. And so the reason why we do see green, even though there's a lot of red, is because BlackRock's iShares ETF, ticker symbol ETHA, made a purchase or bought in total over $144 million worth of ETH. So that's pretty massive. And when I say BlackRock iShares ETF, I mean that people are buying the ETF. And so that is why that number is green. But then if we do look at the other ETFs, we do have all of that red. And so these two, ticker symbol ETHE as well as ticker symbol ETH, that's their minis ETF. This is the grayscale ETFs here. And we can see outflows of about $6 million and about $11 million there. So in total, about $17.5 million coming out of Ethereum. Then looking over at Fidelity's ETF, which is ticker symbol FETH, we see outflows of about $53 million. And so that is the largest outflow here on the list. And then the next one over is about $7 million flowing out of this is going to be Bitwise's ETF, ticker symbol ETHW. And and then a similar sized outflow is for the VanEck ETF, ticker symbol ETHV, with an outflow of around $8.2 million. Didn't see anything from this one. Easy, I believe that is the Franklin ETF. And then let's see, QETH. That is going to be, it's behind Ed, I think, but that's this one here, Invesco Galaxy Ethereum ETF. And so with that one, we also saw outflows of about $4.4 million. But again, the total was inflows of about $54 million over the weekend. So I think that is great. And if we do look at the value in Ethereum, we can see that we saw an increase of nearly 12,000 ETH at 11.7. But we'll look at the data up here in a second to compare with that. And it looks like that data actually doesn't really match up here. So down here, we have 11.7. And then over here, 12.42. So a little different, and that could just be because some smaller ETFs that did not make the list had some selling. That is what I would imagine. But anyways, let's look over at the Ethereum chart real quick over here just to see that, we have seen a little bit of a pullback. So on Friday, the 19th, Ethereum came down by about 2.58%. It looks like it was getting rejected from that downtrend. So what I could see, what I've talked about, is a pullback to around $4,300, somewhere around there, whether it's the 50-day simple moving average, which is around $4,343.61, but that's going to change every day. So right around 4,300. Or coming down a little bit lower than 4,300, maybe get a fill at 4,300 if we penetrate this 236 here at $4,289.30. We do see volume has continued to decrease, and so what we need to see is a big spike in volume. Maybe we get that on Monday, maybe we get it over the weekend. I have no idea. But generally, I think that any pullbacks that we're seeing now are going to be dip buying opportunities, and I will be going over that in today's Crypto Corner Stat Stacker, which I will be releasing later today. But anyways, let's come back to the chart over here just to continue to finish looking at this ETF data. We can see that ETFs currently hold about 6.81 million ETH, valued at $30.43 billion, representing about 5.63% of the Ethereum supply. But then if we look over at the strategic Ethereum reserves, or the entities there, specifically I'm interested in the treasury companies, we can see that they hold about 5 million ETH, representing about $22.29 billion. And there's about 68 participants there, and they hold collectively about 4.12% of the supply, with the leader of the pack, of course, being Bitmine Treasury Company. Bitmine Immersion Technology, which is a Ethereum Treasury Company. And we can see that at the top of the list, their ticker symbol BMNR, holding about 2.15 million ETH, valued at just under $10 billion. So let's look over at the chart for Bitmine. And we can see yesterday I was actually a little late for work. It was a little bit of an issue, but no big deal. No problem there. I did all these Fibonacci retracements. So I'm actually just going to hide them for a second. And then we can see what was going on with the price yesterday. So actually on Friday the 19th, Bitmine did go up about 2.22%, closing for the week at $61.29. Does look like we're putting in some kind of big wicks to the upside, so maybe that's a topping signal. Maybe we will retrace, and that's really why I had all those Fibonacci retracements up here, because I wanted to highlight that. And so what I might do is just adjust this to only include that 786 there at the bottom. And so we have that, and then up here, for this one, I might only include, the 786 and the 618. And so we can see those levels. So it came down here to that red line, moved up to the yellow red line approximately. And and then now we are potentially going to pull back. So this Fibonacci retracement would be to find levels of support. And so I could see us finding support around 54 down to $48, somewhere around there. Really maybe it would be good for me to just highlight that. And so that's really just going to correspond with the consolidation over here. That is what I am seeing. So let's just grab the rectangle tool, just kind of, with the tops over here and then the bottoms over there. That is where I could see Bitmine Immersion Technologies finding a floor. So ranging from about $56 down to around $47, somewhere in there. So we will have to see. It's a little bit cluttered, but I'll clean it up in the next video, I'm sure. Looking back on the list, the next one is SharpLink Gaming. That is ticker symbol SBET or SBET. They currently hold 838.15 thousand ETH and 3.74 billion, representing $3.74 billion. I've got to stop going over all this information and just say nothing's changed. Let's look at the chart for SBET. Over here, doesn't look as good as Bitmine. And it does, though, look like we could be pulling back a little bit. I would say we could be pulling back to around $16, maybe finding that as support, as we did close on Friday at a price of $17.33. So maybe we drop about $1.30, somewhere around there, to find this level where the cursor is as support. And so that is what I would be looking for with that one. But if we do get a volatile move to the upside, I would look for 21 to be acting as some resistance with that 50-day simple moving average there. Anyways, that is, just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more ETH coverage like this. Thanks a lot and have a great weekend. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.